Hey guys, Lance here from the MTG Lance channel doing the final spoiler reviews. I know these spoilers have been out for a while and a lot of you have looked at them. You guys probably want to know, or maybe not probably, but some of you may want to know what I think of these. So we're going to talk about the gods and then the other multicolor enchantment and all that other stuff and the lands and planeswalker and artifacts. And just get all those in one video. So we're just going to start with God. We're going to start with Ephra, God of the Polis. One white, one red, two not one red, one white, one blue, two any, 6/5, indestructible. So this isn't really, and as long as your devotion to white and blue is less than 7, isn't a creature. And that's the same for all of them except with their color palette. So it's 5 mana instead of really 7, it's 5. So just keep that in mind. It's pretty much 5 mana because you're getting 2 from its actual thing. So I think it's very well balanced, especially with some of these, more specifically these 3, because this is crazy in EDH. This is going to be interesting in standard, so is this, and maybe I don't really think I think these are the 2 weaker, like known weaker ones, but I still think this is very good, and I have reasons for it. It's a 4-drop, making it a 6/5. It's not really necessarily going to be a creature, but if you're playing a blue-white heroic deck, it could actually become a 6/5 heroic creature. 6/5 isn't the strongest thing, but it's still pretty strong actually. It lasts a while and it's very tough. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you had another creature enter the battlefield under your control, last turn, draw a card. So each upkeep, so if you played a creature on your turn, their upkeep, you draw, and if you play a creature on their turn, you draw. So I think this works really well with stuff that has flash. There's a blue-white card that lets you bounce a creature, so if they go for removal, you can play it, bounce your own creature, and then draw an extra card during your upkeep. So there's some interesting interactions. Also with Boonsatyr coming in, you can do a goo or green, white, blue. I call it goo because it looks cooler and it works better out that way instead of green, GWB or green, white, blue. Goo sounds cooler. So I don't know. I'm still debating if blue, white should be my deck or green, white, or green, blue, white. Doesn't sound good when you say it like that, but goo, it sounds good. So I don't know. I mean, there's interesting mechanics and other stuff that's good. But it's an alright god. The gods are usually all strong, so it's very good. Next is Phoenix, God of Deception. A lot of people were disappointed in this, thinking it wasn't going to be a mill card. I'm hoping it wasn't going to be a mill card. I pretty much expected it to be because I think they really want to push it, but it's not going to get pushed because it's instead of like 10 poison counters or 20 life, you have 60 life essentially. Yes, it's not that much, but that's pretty much what it is. Is you have to mill them out of 60 cards. Well, more like 53, but still. And when creatures you control out of tap, target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is this creature's toughness. If you're running a defender deck with this, it's insane because you can make flyer defenders just defender, defender, defender. Just blockade yourself just so you can't get hit, and then at the end of your turn, I'll tap all my creatures. And if this guy's a creature, you're milling 7 a turn just off of him. And this is at instant speed since it's a tap ability. So if something's about to get destroyed, you just can't do anything about it. It's going to get destroyed. You just tap it for mana or whatever, or just tap it for this ability, make them mill. So I think this is a very strong for mill, but I still don't think it's top tier. Mogus, God of Slaughter, 4 cost for 7/5, and same devotion thing. And at the beginning of your upkeep, or your opponent's upkeep, each opponent's, deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacrifices a creature. This is very strong. On turn 4, they're now set on a clock of taking 2 damage on turn 4, and if you're really... And this thing can be a creature on turn 4, more like 5 if you play it correctly. Because you'll be able to have Rakdos Cackler, Rakdos Shred Freak, and then into anything that has maybe even a Horror, because then it has a 3 mana there, and turn 4 you have a 7/5. And they're going to take 2 unless they start sacrificing stuff. And if they don't, then they're on a quick clock or they're losing the board state. It's very strong. It's 7/5, meaning it's going to want to swing. A 75 indestructible is kind of a finisher for Rakdos, and that's kind of what it needed, is something big to finish off the game. Very strong in Rakdos colors, very important. I think this may actually be contender. Xenagos gets +X/+X, where it's its power and has haste. So, I mean, since he's a creature, Another target creature. Oh no. Just say you have both of these for some reason. It's gonna get +7/+7 until end turn. It just boosts up so much and just lets you gruel aggro really quickly. Next is Kamisha, God of Harvest, 5 cost, 2 green, 1 white, 3 any, 6/7. Not really huge on becoming a creature, but it still can be a creature and like block and all that stuff. Whenever you cast a spell, search or creature spell, search for a forest and plains, put that card on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Meaning, if you play like 5 creatures in one turn, guess what? You're putting 5 land on the battlefield. Lets you search out and thin out your deck, especially when mixed with. Where is she at? Give me. Where are you at? Can't find you. I don't know. It's one of the rares. It shows the top if it's a land. Yeah, those work really well together. I know I'm about most quarter of the way through, but oh well. Euphra's Enlightenment. Let's see if I can move that up. Euphra's Enlightenment. I think one of the best enchantment cards in Standard right now. Only if Rancor was still in Standard, that'd be amazing, guys, because Goo would be played a lot and be really fun. It's 1 any, 1 white, 1 blue, and that will help out your devotion there. And it gets a 1/1 counter on it, has flying, and whenever it enters the battlefield, another creature enters the battlefield, you may return it to your hand. So this kind of is just you keep putting it back on the creature and making it bigger and bigger and bigger, and just giving it flying and invasion is crazy, guys. I mean, just imagine that, just putting it on a Hero of Irosis. Just put 2 1/1 counters on it on turn 3, and it's cost 2 mana. Just keep that in mind. It costs 2 mana and it gets 2+1/+1 counters and has flying now. And it's a 2/2 to begin with. You got a 4/4 flyer on turn 3. So it's very strong. A very high pick if you're running blue-white. Next is Siren of Silent Song. 1 red, not 1 red, 1 blue, 1 black for a 2/1 flying inspired. And whenever this becomes on tap, each opponent discards a card and puts the top card of his library into his or her graveyard. Not very strong, not very good in Standard limited either because it's 2/1 for 3. And yeah, it has evasion, but I'd rather have a 3/3 flyer with no other ability and just have that because it's solid, has evasion, very good 3-drop. But then right now it's not very strong. Ragemonger, 1 any, 1 red, 1 black, 2/3. Whenever you Minotaurs cast 1 black, 1 red. It reduces it when you pay. Doesn't count for colors, man. Only these 2 colors. Now, I wish it would have been like 2 red or 2 black or red or black, meaning you could essentially have a 1 cost Boros Reckoner, which would be really good. It's pretty strong actually if you have multiples in a limited deck because if you have 4 in a deck and you have 1 out, it's a 1 cost 2/3. It's very strong, and you can just kind of bring out a whole bunch really quickly. And it's very fun. I mean, you play this on turn 3, play your 4th land, cost 2 less. You can play all 3 more and have 4 creatures on board very easily. Okay, Fantic of Xenagos. 1 any, Gruul colors, 3/3 and trample and tribute 1. And enters the battlefield. If it wasn't paid, it gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. So either you have a 4/4 trampler or you have a +1/+1 haste trampler. Well, just haste trampler, yeah. I think I'd rather just give it the +1 and haste. And the reason why I say this, unless you have to stall, is because then you can just get it out of the way, get the damage, let them get the damage through, then just stays as a 3/3 trampler instead of being a 4/4 trampler for the rest of the game. And that 1 life can make a difference later on. Reap what I sown is just, I think of reap what I sow. I don't know. This sounds like a very flavorful card. Put 3 1/1 counters on each up to 3 creatures you control. So 3 to make a creature +3/+3 essentially. Next is one of my favorite, Manticore or Chromanticore. 1 of every color, and it's a 4/4 flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, and lifelink. Or your bestow creature gets +4/+4 and has flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, and lifelink. This is freaking. It's not gonna hit any play unless someone's like 5 color control somehow. Or I think this would be fun and limited. If I pulled it, I'd play 5 colors. I honestly would if it was like one of my first rares, and I had Iliodon or Hero of Irosis. Would be very fun with this card, especially if you get the mana base. I mean, there's not really a ton of mana correction though. You'd want some Springleaf Drums to help with the mana, anything else that can produce mana. Anything that untaps, you just kind of want to get that mana through. Very interesting card. I mean, everyone was hoping this would be a legendary creature because who doesn't want a 5-color legendary creature for EDH? And, I mean, it needed to be a legendary creature. It's not that powerful, but then you can use it as your commander, and then on turn 5, have a 4/4 flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and just fun stuff. Next is the only Planeswalker, which I'm sad to say, is Kiora the Crashing Wave, which really surprises me, knowing that they don't have any real Simic cards besides these two. And the next set is when the Simic stuff comes out, so I'm kind of confused why they didn't added this earlier than later with all the other Simic cards. So I was a bit confused about that, why they did it. I was hoping Simic would be in this set, or they were going to add more of the lands, but they only left it with those 3 lands and not really many Simic cards. So kind of depressed there about that. I mean, I like Simic, and I'm still kind of playing it, but I'm not. Rakdos in a modern control proxy deck is really what I'm running because I want to just have some fun with it. But what she does is a 2 Simic colors are green blue. It's a 2 loyalty, which kind of was weak. I wish it was 3. Until end of turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to and dealt by permanents and opponent controls. By target permanent. If it was permanents, that would just be crazy. Actually, that would push this card over the top just because your opponent can't do anything on the board state. And if they're only board creatures, then it gets crazy. But then -1 is an Explorer for your older players, which is draw a card and you play additional land. And if somehow you get -5, you get put 99 Krakens onto the battlefield at the beginning of your end step. So very powerful if you trigger it off, but I mean, it's not the greatest Planeswalker that I think of, but I mean, I don't know. Planeswalkers have always been iffy cards because you never know how they're going to work and if they're going to work good or not. Some are better than the others. Kiora's Follower, 1 blue, 1 green, untap another target permanent. So this helps with, and it's a 2/2 for 2. Helps with your inspired and your, inspired triggers and all that stuff. Now moving on to Astro Cornucopia, 3 X's, which you don't see very often. Enters the battlefield with X charge counters on it. Now the thing is, I don't understand all charge counters like the triple X's. So if you pay 1 of the X, does it come with 1 X, or do you have to pay each of the X's? So if you have like 6 mana open, pay 2 for each, so it adds 2 to charge counters to it. I think that's how it works. I may be wrong, so don't hold me to it. This could be really good in EDH when you just have a lot of mana open, because then you double your mana. Well, 1/3. You get 1/3 of your mana back, essentially. So it's still very strong. Not very great in limited though. EDH pretty good. Heroes Podium 5 any color. Each legendary creature gets +1/+1 for each other legendary creature you control. Look at the top X of your cards of your library and you may reveal a legendary creature card from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. For EDH, I think this is really fun because if you have like a legendary deck only, like legendaries only, put it in there, it'd be really fun. And also lets you search for legendary creatures. 1 and then 2 to equip. Equip creature has Death Touch. Not really standard play, but limited, very fun because you can put it on a Chromantic and give it Death Touch for the low cost of 3 mana. So it's okay in limited. It's constructed, not at all. Siren Song Leer, 2 Equip creature has 2 and tap target creature. So that's alright. Keep stuff tapped down, but I really don't think it's that strong. Next is Pillar of War, 3 for a 3/3 defender. As long as it is enchanted, it can attack as though it didn't have defender. These are always good in limited because then you have it doesn't matter what deck you're running, but you have it. Springleaf Drum, 1 and untap target creature control, add 1 mana to your mana pool. So really helpful in mana correction. The Skylands just enter tapped, and you get to look at the top card of your library and give you that double mana. So, that's all for the spoilers. This is the final. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know which one you think is the best limited and constructed playable in this these multicolored stuff. Doing some more interesting videos soon to come. So, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll talk to you guys later. See you.